I hope you all already know Bimal ji, but then again, I would like to give a brief intro of Bimal ji before we get into the webinar. Um, he is a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India since May 1994 and member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India since December 2006, along with a bachelor's degree in law. He is also a qualified SAP financial control consultant and has more than 21 years of experience in indirect taxation and specializes in all aspects of goods and service tax, value added tax, CST, central excise, customs, FTT, SEZ, EOU, export import laws. He has working experience of more than 18 years in renowned companies like LG Electronics, Honda Motorcycle and Scooters, Hindustan Development Corporation, Khaitan and Company, and presently he is the executive director of A to Z Tax Corp LLP, a boutique indirect tax firm. He also has hands-on experience in providing opinion and advisory services, carrying out diagnostic review of business operations, process review, structuring of business model, undertaking litigation services at all appropriate forum, including CESTAT and representation before the CBIC, TIU, DGFT, etc. And in addition to that, he's also received a lot of awards and recognitions. He's been the keynote speaker at Guinness World Record made by ICSI in the largest taxation lesson on GST, which was attended by 4,500 plus participants, breaking earlier record of Japan. He's also received a Business Leader Award from Amity School, Noida, Best Speaker Award from NIRC, ICAI, ICWAI, Young Achievers Award at Igniting Minds 2015, Best Participant Award in MSOP 117th batch by ICSI. Every month, we host webinar with Bimalji, and we cannot thank him enough for having this collaboration with Zoho and for making every webinar more interesting and more engaging. So this Friday, from my side, from Zoho's side, I'm going to promise you that Bimalji is going to make all of you sit at the edge of your seat throughout the webinar and make this one more interesting. Now I'm going to hand it over to Bimalji. Bimalji, the webinar is all yours.
Thank you, Hasini, for a lovely introduction. And let me thank each one of you who are taking out your important time. And that too immediately after Diwali and lot many festivals. But still you're taking out time and joining today. Topic is very interesting and important because lot many changes which is now made effective from 1st of October 2022. We must know that. And these changes are really impacting directly or indirectly any business, be it manufacturing, be it service sector, be it a trading sector. And we are going to discuss the important changes, mainly focusing on GST input tax credit changes effective from October 1, 2022. So without taking much time, today I'm going to discuss five different topic, but in a holistic manner, so that you get clarity on those subject matter. And of course, you all are so dynamic, vibrant, active. Chat box, always you write down the answer. That is very, very interesting and important. So keep on writing answer in a chat box. That will help that, we are interacting both way, two-way communication. But what happened to two-way communication in GST regime? For GST return filing, we are going to discuss little later. But yes, we must have two-way communication, one from my side and others from your side. So tell me in a chat box, my voice is clear, except Mustafa Ali. Might be Mustafa Ali, kindly check your volume. You need to cross-check at your end. My voice is clear to all of you? All right, thank you very much. So let's start. Very first topic. GST input tax credit. In any taxation system, there are two pillars. One is outward supply, on which we charge GST and pay GST, and one is inward supply, that is purchase. On that we pay GST and take credit. Any taxation system to my mind should have been very simple. Whatever I am paying on my purchase, that should be available as a credit, and this credit should be available to me to be adjusted with my GST on my sell outward supply. There should not be if and buts, but problem is really there. GST, we have seen lot many challenges, and we are finding availing credit in GST is not a simple task. It is not only matching with 2A, 2B, there are lot many if and buts. And sometimes looks like to me that government is not intending to give the GST input tax credit. And today we are going to discuss all those provision which is creating complication and restricting a right to avail GST input tax credit. When GST started, July 1, 2017, initially there were 4 conditions. I'm saying condition to avail GST input tax credit under section 16 subsection 2. What are those 4 conditions? Quick recap. I know that all of you are aware of, but still quick recap. You all are my buyer. Let's assume you all are my buyer from Tamil Nadu, and I'm supplier registered in Delhi. So I'm supplying either goods or services from Delhi to Tamil Nadu, interstate supply, IGST leviable. But to avail credit, what you need to do? What are the conditions you need to satisfy? First condition, you should have tax invoice copy. Second, you must have received goods or services. Third, your supplier must have paid taxes. So your credit, buyer's credit, is dependent upon whether supplier has paid the taxes or not, either through e-cash ledger or through e-credit ledger. But we have seen the challenges which we are going to discuss today, that you as a buyer has paid the amount to the supplier. Supplier has not deposited the tax. Whose fault? It's supplier's fault. But credit, when you want to avail, there's a condition, your supplier must have paid taxes. Otherwise, department going to deny your credit. We are going to discuss this component as well. Third condition. Fourth condition, regularly filing GST return. So I always cross-check and take exam. Do not shy away giving your exam. So regularly filing GST return, it is written in the context of supplier or recipient. Please tell me. In the context of supplier or recipient, write down your answer in a chat box. Who need to file regular GST return? And what is this condition which I'm referring to under section 16 subsection 2? So a lot of you are filing supplier, lot of you are filing recipient, and there are so many, they are saying answer is both. As per law, it's a recipient who is regularly filing GST return as per law. Okay, 4 condition. Now 5th condition got introduced. 5th condition, from 1st January 2022. 1st January 2022, 5th condition. What was that? The credit which is availed by the buyer, recipient, must be matched with GSTR 2B. Must be matched with GSTR 2B. 5th condition. It was prospective clause. notified to be effective from 1st January 2022. Now, there are a lot many questions which is coming out in the market. We can quickly run and solve, right? We are getting lot many notices for the period prior to 1st January 2022. If credit availed by you in 3B is not matching with GSTR 2A, I'm sure you're getting lot many notices. Quickly, from law position perspective, I said fifth condition introduced from 1st January 2022 only talk about matching with GSTR 2B. Whether credit is really dependent on GSTR 2A. I got lot many. I made so many videos and webinar and seminar. I've explained this concept, but for the clarity's sake, write down answer in a chat box. Whether credit is really dependent on GSTR 2A, say yes and no. Yes and no. Okay. A lot of you are writing no, and answer is no. My credit is not dependent on 2A. For the region, there was no provision under the GST law. It is only by way of rule. So rule cannot override the act. First. Second, there is Supreme Court judgment, Bharti Airtel. They have said GSTR 2A is only a facilitation. So there are lot many videos available. I'm not explaining in detail part, but that is how 2A is not dependent. But I will tell you how you would be checking, what are the things required to be checked, how to be verified. But from law perspective, 2A is not relevant at all. Not relevant at all. Now, having said that, 2B, which is introduced from 1st January 2022, we have to match. I'm asking a question. From 1st of January 2022 onwards, whether you as a buyer, recipient, really need to match with GSTR 2B, say yes and no. Yes and no. Definitely yes, no choice left. No choice left. Vivek Singh, there's no choice left. You have to really match. Now I'm creating three situations for you. Three situations for you. First situation, listen very carefully and then answer. First situation. We have seen that supplier was making a lot of mistakes. Mistakes of what? I have captured GSTIN number of my buyer, but instead of capturing correct GSTIN number of my buyer, I have captured GSTIN number of some other party. It was not coming in your two-way, but you were satisfying all condition, having tax invoice with proper GSTIN number, having received goods and services. And I'm also assuming supplier has paid the taxes through 3B. It was only supplier has wrongly furnished GSTIN number in GSTR 1. Hence, it was not coming in your two-way. And being recipient, you are filing your GST return. There may be a case B2B transaction captured as a B2C by the supplier was not coming in your two-way. There was interstate supply Delhi to Tamil Nadu, but wrongly furnished as an intrastate. It was coming as an ineligible credit. Or there may be a case supplier has not filed GSTR 1 but paid the taxes through GSTR 3B. It was all happening prior to 1st January 2022, and credit was not reflected in two-way. But I given you the legal answer that my credit is not dependent on two-way. But from 1st January 2022, credit is dependent on GSTR 2B. So you have to answer it now. If I have wrongly furnished GST number in my GSTR 1, if I have wrongly captured B2B as a B2C, if I have wrongly captured interstate supply as a intrastate, or I have not filed GSTR1, only 3B I have filed, it is not going to be reflected in your 2B also. It will not be. It will not come. Can you avail credit after 1st January 2022? Please tell me. Can you avail credit? You can't. You can't. And you all are writing correct. ITC not available. It's all mistake of supplier, right? All mistake of supplier. Credit is not available. It is not coming in to be the first situation. So what is the way forward? Way forward, if credit is not auto-populated in GSTR 2B, if credit is not auto-populated in GSTR 2B, you must go back to your supplier and ask your supplier, boss, this purchase which I made from you, it is not coming in 2B. Kindly check whether you have correctly furnished all the data in GSTR1 or you have not furnished the same. That's the reason it's not coming in 2B. So way forward, if it is not coming in 2B, then credit is not available. So your credit is dependent on supplier, tax compliant supplier. So concept is changing. I will discuss at length little later. Know your supplier concept. Second point, credit coming in 2B, but still credit is not available. So you should not assume that credit coming in 2B, I can blindly take the credit. That cannot be a case. You have to cross check. All the conditions need to be satisfied, all 5 conditions. And to explain this, take this example. Let's say from Delhi, I've supplied goods on 30th September. 30th September, 30. Raise my invoice on 30th September. I have furnished correct details in my GSTR1 for September month. It is coming in GSTR2B of September in your books, but you have received the goods on 5th of October. 5th of October. Question which I'm going to ask you, credit coming in 2B for September month, but goods received on 5th of October. Can you avail credit? Say yes and no. Yes and no. You can't. You can't avail. For September month, no. It is only in the October month when you have received the goods and you're satisfying all 5 conditions, then credit is available. Am I clear to all? So even though coming in 2B, but credit can't be availed because you have not received the goods. Hope I'm clear to all of you. Next example, which is third case. Credit not coming in 2B, but still credit is available. Credit is not coming in 2B, but still credit is available. So we have to identify such transaction. What are those transactions? On import of goods, we file bill of entry, right? And bill of entry is the relevant document. Sometime we have seen and challenges, data is not transmitted from IceGate to GSTN portal and not getting auto-populated in 2B. Hence, credit is available in such cases. Import of services where you pay GST and a reverse charge as a recipient. It is not auto-populated in 2B. Any reverse charge liability when you are paying as a recipient, not getting auto-populated in 2B, but still credit is available. So third point is credit not coming in 2B, but still credit is available. Tell me in a chat box, am I clear to all? Say yes in a chat box. It is clear to all. Say yes in a chat box. It is clear to all. So 3 point I have clarified. 3 point I have clarified. I'm repeating again. First, if credit to be availed post 1st January 2022, we have to satisfy 5 conditions. Having tax invoice copy, bill of entry in case of import, any tax paying document, receipt of goods and services, supplier must have paid taxes, which I will discuss later, but the condition that your supplier must have paid taxes. Fourth, you as a recipient regularly filing GST return. And fifth condition, from 1st January 2022, it should be matched with GSTR 2B. But I created 3 buckets. If credit not coming in 2B for the fault of supplier of wrong furnishing the particulars, credit is not available to you, not available. Second, credit coming in 2B, but I can't take credit. There are certain transactions which we need to cross check, and we have to see all 5 conditions are satisfied, like goods supplied on 30th September but received on 5th of October. Third situation, credit not coming in 2B, but still credit is available. Import of goods, import of services, reverse charge liability. So I've explained this aspect. Now coming to the 6th condition. And this is now notified from 1st of October 2022. So condition, 6th condition, from 1st of October 2022. And what this condition says, they are saying, Bimal, this credit which is auto-populated in 2B, it should not be restricted as per section 38. So 6th condition is saying credit which is auto-populated in 2B, it should not be restricted as per section 38. Now come to the section 38. What is the 38? Section 38? Section 38 is completely substituted. Completely substituted. And as per section 38, now they are saying whatever credit auto-populated in 2B would be bifurcated into 2 buckets, would be divided into 2 buckets. Bucket number 1, auto-populated and eligible. Means credit which is auto-populated in 2B is eligible, you can avail the credit. No problem, safest route. You can avail this credit. Keeping in mind all 5 conditions are satisfied. Bucket 2, credit auto-populated, but it is not eligible because of 6 restriction. Because of 6 restriction. And these restrictions are on supplier side. Some fault of supplier may be a condition, may be a criteria of this restriction, even though credit auto-populated in 2B, but still it is not eligible. So 2B will have 2 bifurcation, eligible, auto-populated and eligible, auto-populated and not eligible. Not eligible for the region, it is restricted, and it is restricted for the region of supplier's fault. Supplier's fault, Bimal Jain. And what are those 6 restrictions now? Restriction number 1. Your supplier has taken new registration. Then maybe for specified period, credit would be restricted. So if your supplier has taken new registration and you are purchasing from such newly registered supplier, he's filing GSTR1 coming in 2B, but government will restrict the credit from such newly registered supplier for specified period. Why this provision is being made? Background we need to understand. We have seen in the GST regime lot many supplier was taking a registration just to pass on the credit. They were having certain risk. They were just passing on the credit. So government now saying we will identify such supplier who are taking new registration, and we will restrict this credit for a specified period. If you are purchasing from such newly registered supplier, so this specified, they have not specified as yet, but provision is now made effective from October 1, 2022. So restriction number 1. Am I clear to all? Tell me in a chat box. Is it clear? Chat box. I want your answer yes and no. That first restriction which I discussed, it is clear to all of you. Okay. Second restriction. Second restriction. If your supplier is defaulted in payment of tax and he continues to default in payment of tax for specified period, this may be another restriction that your credit, even though auto populated in 2B, but it will not be eligible. So credit for the buyer, for the recipient, is dependent upon supplier. Is supplier default in payment of tax and default continues for specified period, then you as a buyer will not get credit. It would be restricted. So this specified period is yet to be notified, but this provision is notified. Coming to the third situation, third restriction. If supplier is showing the outward supply and outward tax in GSTR 1, and which is exceeding, and they're not paying that tax which is being shown in GSTR 1 when they are filing GSTR 3B, and this difference of GSTR 1 versus GSTR 3B, it's exceeding specified limit. That may be third restriction, that credit, even though auto populated in GSTR 2B for the buyer, but will not be available, will not be eligible to avail the credit. Let's take an example so that you can understand in a better way. I'm a supplier. I've shown my outward supply, which was actually 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh rupees, and there was a tax on 1 lakh rupees. Let's say 1 lakh rupees is my liability on my outward supply. Now, when I'm filing my GSTR 1, by either it is intentional or unintentional, there may be two cases. Intentional, when you want to pass on the credit, right? Unintentional, you make mistake. So let's say as against 1 lakh rupees liability, you have shown 10 lakh rupees liability as per GSTR 1. Now you are filing GSTR 3B. Quite obvious, you will file 3B only for 1 lakh rupees and pay the taxes 1 lakh rupees. But you file your GSTR 1 for 10 lakh rupees, right? Difference of 9 lakh rupees. So now government, as per the provision made, they're saying if there is this difference, 1 versus 3B, and it exceeds specified limit, so they will specify this limit. If it is exceeding 10% or 20%, then this is the restriction. You can't avail credit. So first you tell me you have understood this part, then I want to discuss little further on this provision. Say yes in a chat box, so this limit they will specify. How much limit is specified, they have not specified as yet, but this is how they have said. Okay. So GSTR1, if there is difference of output tax as shown in GSTR1 versus GSTR3B, and it is this difference exceeding the specified limit, that may be the third restriction, that credit is not available to the recipient. Am I clear? Please tell me. I have repeated this thing, so I want to really listen, answer those who are saying repeat again, clarify again. Okay, okay, okay. Now listen, this part I want to clarify. Listen very carefully. I need your attention now. When it is intentional, government was telling me, the officer were telling me, Bimalji, there were lot many supplier. They used to file GSTR1 for 10 lakh rupees as against 1 lakh rupees to pass on the credit to the buyer. But paying the tax only 1 lakh rupees through 3B. What we should do? So they first put restriction, right? And they say if this exceed specified limit, that will be one of the restriction. But there's another provision which you must know. One explanation got inserted under section 75 subsection 12 of CGST Act. And this explanation is applicable from 1st January 2022. I do not know how many of you are aware of this provision, but let me tell you, this is applicable from 1st January 2022. And what this explanation says, Bimal, this 9 lakh rupees difference will be considered as a self-assessment tax. Self-assessment tax. And it can be recovered by the GST department without issuance of so-cause notice, either under section 73 non-fraud case or under section 74 fraud cases. So they are saying if you are making this mistake, 1 versus 3B, we will consider as a self-assessment tax and it can be recovered without issuance of so-cause notice. And I'm sure some of you may have received even notices, scrutiny notices under section 61, or maybe so-cause notice for difference in liability for GSTR1 versus GSTR3B. So first of all, you need to understand this, right? But now coming back, a reasonable argument. When I'm filing my GSTR1, and we have seen sometime to error is human, I know my liability was 1 lakh rupees, but somewhat while filing my GSTR1, extra zero got added. One extra zero got added. So 1 lakh become 10 lakh rupees. It was unintentional error, human error, clerical error. Quite obvious, I will pay only 1 lakh rupees, right? Quite obvious. Can it be self-assessment tax? Can it be recovered without issuance of so-cause notice? It was only 1 zero. Had it been 2 zero added, then 1 crore liability in GSTR1 versus 1 lakh. Do I require to pay 99 lakh rupees? And recovery can be initiated without issuance of so-cause notice. My answer to all of you. I was talking to them and I was telling them, sir, I know why you have made this a provision. I know why you have made this provision. But don't look at everyone with an eye that everyone is a fraudster. Everyone want to do fraud in this business scenario. There are sometimes mistake, clerical mistake, human error. Give some time to this taxpayer to correct his GSTR1. You have not given revision. I know that I made the mistake. Had revision option available to me, I would have revised my GSTR1. Since revision is not available, kindly allow me some time to amend the GSTR1 so that it can be corrected in subsequent month. This is what I argued. And I said, sir, you can give me 4 months, 6 months, 2 months. sometime, then you say it is a self-assessment tax, right? This is the first point I argued. They have issued one circular clarifying the position, but to me, legal answer which I'm giving you, if you have got some notices for this 1 versus 3B difference, I'm giving you legal answer now. Under section 37, GSTR1, there's a specific provision which you must keep to your mind. And that is my legal answer to this argument. This is saying rectification of any omission or error. If we want to rectify any omission or error in GSTR1 as per section 37 of CGST Act, it was permitted till September of next financial year, which is now changed to 30th November of next financial year. So if I'm talking about 21-22 financial year, then this rectification is permissible by September 2022 earlier. But with the provision change, now it is 30th November 2022 as per the law. As per the law. I argued before the authority and I said, sir, how come it is a self-assessment tax? You're not giving me revision option of GSTR1, but simultaneously there's section 37 permitting me rectification, and that too till 30th November, which is changed now, but when I was discussing with the officer, it was September of next financial year. So you can't assume this is self-assessment tax. And just because there is a provision in one section, it cannot be read in isolation. It needs to be read in holistic manner. Please tell me, have you understood it? Please tell me. Please tell me, have you understood it? So that you go, so that this part is clear to all of you. Perfect, perfect. So they can't do, but this is a third restriction under section 38, which is substituted. Coming to the fourth restriction now. Fourth restriction. And what is the fourth restriction, you know? So what to do if there's a mistake, Mr. Adil Ali? If there's a mistake, do the rectification in subsequent month GSTR1. That is what I said, Adil. Please, have you understood it? Say yes in a chat box that I need to rectify the same. Okay. I said that. Why this question came to your mind, Adil, I do not understand. I said that rectification of any omission or error, this question should not have come to your mind. Nevertheless, coming to the, see, adjusting in annual return is not permissible. Vishal Bhatt, not permissible. GSTR 9 and 9C are only the compilation of GSTR 1, 3B, 2B. That cannot be corrected in 9 and 9C. That is a different process altogether. Rectification as per the law in GSTR1 is permissible only as per section 37. Am I clear to all? Please tell me, say yes. Say yes in a chat box so that I can move further. Yeah, okay. Coming to the fourth restriction now. If your supplier has availed the credit in 3B and that is exceeding the credit as auto-populated in a GSTR 2B, and this exceeding beyond the specified limit, then this may be fourth restriction, that your credit for the fault of supplier can be restricted. So if there is difference of credit availed in 3B versus 2B in the hands of supplier, and this exceeds beyond the specified limit, then credit which is auto-populated in your 2B is not eligible. I'm saying beyond the specified limit, beyond the specified limit. I said, right? For all four restriction, I said. But this specified to be notified by way of rule, which they have not notified us yet. It will come, but provision is now made effective. So they can always come back with the rules. And once rules are being notified, then it is going to be effective. Here I want to make 2 points. First point, provision is now effective from 1st October 2022. They will notify by way of rule, right? But you have seen GSTN, right? GSTN Baba. I always say GSTN Baba. What we find, and I want your answer to this. You answer to me. There's one GST law, based on GST common portal, but I find at number of occasions, law and GSTN portal are not syncing, not on sync. And there's some disconnection. Even I've seen on GSTN common portal, they have already implemented difference of 1 versus 3B, 2B versus 3B, beyond is 20% or 10%, like they have already implemented, whereas rule is yet to be notified. Am I right in saying so? Say yes in a chat box. Am I right in saying so? So GSTN goes in a different direction, common portal is on different direction, whereas rule yet to be notified. And that is how we are complaining and saying, let's sing together, have synergy together. So Aslam Ansari is saying N. What is N means, Aslam, I do not understand, but that is how the problem all about. All right, all right. So fourth restriction. Coming to the fifth one. Listen very carefully. Fifth one. There was one rule 86B, which got notified on 1st January 2021. Rule 86B notified on 1st January 2021. But they have notified the provision now from 1st October 2022, 49 subsection 12 of CGST Act. So we have seen in GST another challenge, rules are being made effective, provision is not existing, and we have filed lot many writ petition before High Court that rule cannot override the provision. It's ultra bias, right? For rule 86B also we have done it. What is 86B, by the way? Is specific provision that you can't use your e-credit ledger in excess of 99%. So compulsorily you have to pay 1% from e-cash ledger. That is what rule 86B. As per this rule, minimum 1% you have to pay through e-cash ledger, even though you are having enough credit, but you will not be able to use beyond 99%. There are certain exclusion and certain clarity, but this is what the rule 86B, and this may be fifth restriction. If supplier is not complying the provision of 49 subsection 12, this may be a reason your credit would be made ineligible. 5. And the last one. And to my mind, Atul Tanwar, we can always file a writ petition in the High Court prior to 1st October 2022. We can say rule are contradictory, ultra bias beyond the provision of GST law. It is now effective only from 1st of October 2022. Listen very carefully. So Bhavesh Gayakabad, kindly repeat 86B. Oh, Babes, lot many point I need to discuss. If repeat, then it will not end. Please go with me. Pratik, there are lot many participants. They're asking some question, but okay, let me. Hers, listen very carefully. So all three party listen carefully. Rule 86B is saying, and as per the provision under Rule 86B, you cannot use your e-credit ledger in excess of 99%. So you have to use your e-credit ledger only to the extent of 99%, which means compulsorily you have to pay 1% through e-cash ledger. This is the rule. Effective from 49 subsection 12 1st October 2022, but rule is made effective from 1st January 2021. To that extent, we can file a writ in the court that rule are ultra vires and beyond the provision of law. Pratik was asking very good question. Sir, why the fault of supplier is made ground for not giving credit to the buyer? Pratik was asking this question, right? And this question must be lying to your mind as well. I will discuss this question, Pratik. Just pause for a while. Next topic is this one only. Rule 86B is clear. Am I clear to all of you? 86B is clear? Okay, okay. And last restriction, and that is amazing to my mind, amazing. They're saying government may notify any other restriction as they deem fit in this regard. Government may notify any other restriction as they deem fit. Then I'm thinking, what is being left out? You can do anything, whatever you want. You can do anything, whatever you want. So for me, it looks like GST credit is a seamless flow of credit. Looks like a myth. It is a really stringent condition followed by restriction. We started with 4 condition, added 5th condition, 6th condition with the restriction, and it looks like, you tell me if I'm wrong anywhere, looks like to me availing credit in GST as a seamless. I have my own doubt. Please tell me yes and no. It is really, it is not seamless to me. This is not seamless. It is really complicated one. No way, really difficult. See, I'm telling you another part of it, and very interesting part. You will agree with me. If government intention is not to give credit with so many condition and restriction, and you do not want to give the credit, I have posted one poll on my Twitter account. It was 6 months ago when this budget finance Act 2022, the Union Budget 2022 was presented, and this provision was a part of this, Union Budget 2022, which is Finance Act 2022, now made effective from October 1, 2022. That time I tweeted one question, one poll, and my poll was, how many of you, when government intention is put so many condition and restriction, they looks like that credit should not be made available. So my question as a poll was, you remove the credit portion. Don't give credit portion. Don't allow any credit. Then reduce the GST rate. You're having so much of 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. Reduce GST rate. Don't give the credit. At least some simplicity will come. This was the poll, right? This was the poll. You know that how many person, I got more than 2,000 vote, on this poll. 90% my audience has voted remove credit but reduce the GST rate. so that we are out of mess. Am I clear? Hope I'm clear to all of you. If you're not willing, as if you're putting so many condition and restriction, you do not want to give me credit. Take away your credit, but reduce the GST rate then. At least some simplicity will come. We will not be looking so many condition and restriction. Hope I'm clear. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Now I'm picking up the question of Pratik Jain. Don't assume because Pratik is Jain, that's the reason I'm picking up his question. Don't assume like that. His question was logical and connecting to my second topic. That's the reason I'm picking up his query. Government is really, making so many adjustments in GST law. The GST law is not getting simple. When GST law got implemented, initially it was stated that supplier going to file GSTR1 by 10th of next month, going to be auto-populated for you recipient in 2-way, and when you're finalizing GSTR2 by 15th of next month, you can add, modify and delete, and you will file GSTR2 by 15th of next month. Once you're doing add, modify and delete, it is auto-populated for supplier and GSTR1A, which supplier has either to accept or reject to file GSTR3 and relevant section 37 GSTR1, 38 GSTR2, 39 GSTR3 initially, right? Later on, they have made retrospective change, and GSTR3B was the return under section 39, which has reached to the Supreme Court in ARP and Associate. Then we got section 41, 42, 43, and 43A. And 43A was introduced by way of CGST Amendment Act 2018. But you have seen this automated GST return system, they have never implemented. 2 and 3 was never implemented. Even 2A, which was supposed to come from July 17, never got introduced. It only came beginning of January 2019. And we were having challenge. That 2A was not showing correct numbers. 2A was not showing whether my supplier has paid the taxes or not initially. Later on, it was improved further. That status started coming in that supplier has paid the taxes, but still challenged today. Even though status coming as supplier has paid the taxes, you answer, what is the guarantee that supplier has included the invoice which is raised on the recipient? Status is coming, tax paid, filed, submitted. But what is the guarantee that supplier has included that relevant invoice on which you are availing as a credit? Is it coming? Say yes and no in a chat box. Say yes and no. Even though it is status filed, does not mean that the invoice on which you have availed credit is being included by the supplier while discharging the GST. It's not coming. Even as on date, many challenges. And this government is changing the provision. Now, my answer to all of you. Now they are saying, Bimal, this two-way communication gone. Two-way means supplier and recipient. Two-way communication omitted. They have omitted section 42, 43, 43A, 38, completely substituted. So two-way communication, they are saying, Bimal, gone. Now it would be unilateral. Your credit, buyer's credit, is going to be dependent upon supplier. So if in GST you want to do business, you have to make sure that your supplier is a tax compliant supplier. Otherwise, credit will not be available. I given you the example that if your supplier makes mistakes, for furnishing relevant details while filing GSTR1. It is not going to be auto-populated in 2A and 2B, but post 1st January 2022, you will not get credit. You have to make sure that your supplier is correctly furnishing the details and correctly paying the taxes. And for that, some provision, important provision, are being introduced, and some of the provision are being made effective from 1st January 2022, and some of the provision is now made effective from 1st of October 2022. I'm going to tell you four provision. Pratik, if these provisions get introduced, and to me looks like it will take 6 months to 12 months, 6 to 12 months, you will find that ITC related dispute will go down, because credit going to be dependent on supplier only. So know your supplier concept has come unilateral. Your credit is dependent on supplier. Government has introduced some provision, and some provision from October 1, 2022, and the resultant outcome you will see after 12 months. And what are those changes? Listen very carefully. Buyer is struggling, recipient is struggling. They are saying that, sir, we do not understand. If suppliers default, what we should do? These all will go away in time to come, 6 months to 12 months. I'm telling you some of the provision. Listen very carefully. And I'm asking you, before I say my first question to all of you, let's say you have not filed GSTR 3B for September month. Let's say, assume you have not filed 3B for September month. Can you file GSTR1 for the month of October, and assume October is the current tax period? Say yes and no in a chat box. Yes and no in a chat box. So there is only few of the participants are saying yes. Maximum answer is no in a chat box, and chat box is visible to all of you. You can always see, as a democracy, you can't do that. Rule 59 sub rule 6 of CGST rule, effective from 1st January 2022, has made the provision. Unless you file 3B, you will not be able to file GSTR1 for the current tax period. So government is ensuring that supplier must pay the taxes. So the credit which is being denied because of supplier's fault of non-payment of taxes can be protected, can be restricted, I mean to say that, with this provision. The second question will come, sir, what happens if he is making mistake 1 versus 3B? Difference 1 versus 3B, that outward tax coming in 1 versus tax paid in 3B is not matching. Then another provision, self-assessment tax explanation 75 subsection 12. Okay, if you can make mistake once, you can make mistake twice, can you repeatedly make mistake? That 1 with 10 lakh rupees and 3B with 1 lakh rupees? Can you repeat it frequently? Say yes and no in a chat box. Is it possible? To error is human, clerical error is human, but can you repeat such mistake if you are really intended to be honest and genuine taxpayer? No, no way. So what happened? In all probability, your 1 and 3B going to match. Your 1 and 3B going to match. So 1 and 3B match means whatever invoices you are having as a buyer, on that your supplier has paid the taxes, right? 75 subsection 12. Third provision, which is from 1st of October 2022. And the provision change is made under section 37. Before I say the change, let me ask this question to you. Let's say I have not filed my GSTR1 for my preceding tax period. Let's say till September. September was the preceding month. I did not file GSTR1 for September. Can I file GSTR1 for the month of October when I've not filed GSTR1 for September? Please say yes and no in a chat box. No way. No way. So that process is now being improvised. That credit not coming in 2A or 2B because supplier not filing GSTR1 will get resolved. Will get resolved. And supplier has to ensure that he's filing till preceding period. Then only October is available. And 1 and 3B mismatch cannot continue for his sweet wisdom, right? So protection, 37. 39, they have made another change. 39, they have made another change. And let me tell you, and let me ask the question, then you will get the answer also. For current tax period October, can I file my 3B without filing GSTR1 for the October? I just want to file 3B, not 1. Can I do that? Say yes and no in a chat box. Mahesh Bangle, you are the only person saying yes in a chat box. You can check yourself. You can't do that, Mahesh. Not possible now. No way. You have to file 1, then only 3B is getting enabled for you. That is what GSTN Common Portal is now changing. Unless you file 1 for the current tax period, you will not be able to file 3B. So first file 1, then 3B. So with this process, the buyer who was struggling with, Mustafa Ali, such provision not granted by government under GST regime. Mustafa ji, 39, I told you, whatever I'm referring section also. Go back and check provision. These are the part of provision now. Okay. So this is the part I did. So Mahesh, hope you got my answer, right? So this is called now sequential filing. Sequential filing. So Suryam is helping me. Mustafa, see, we are having such a august and distinguished audience with me. They are helping each other. So this provision is under section 39, subsection 12, which I was referring, but I am referring broadly because I do not want to make my technical presentation. I just wanted presentation you should get more and more. I hope I'm clear, Mustafa, to you. But with this sequential filing, the credit to be availed by the recipient and the dispute pertaining to that will get minimized over a period of time. And I've taken a target 6 months to a 12 months. You will find that credit related dispute matching will get minimized, but only thing which is coming out that this is all dependent only when your supplier is tax compliant. If he is not tax compliant, then for sure credit in the hands of recipient or buyer will always be disputed. This is my crux point. Please tell me, am I right? Say yes and no. Please say yes and no. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Coming to the third point now. Third point. I will take the queries at the end. In case some query left out, don't worry about. I will definitely give you the answer. But you carry on with my momentum. Only 2 topics left. Let me complete 2 topics within 15 minutes. Then we will start question answer session. Okay. Listen. Third topic. Section 16, subsection 2, clause C. What is this? I have supplied from Delhi to Tamil Nadu, 10 lakh, 18% IGST. You as a buyer has paid the amount to me. Supplier has not deposited the tax. Supplier has not deposited the tax. Please tell me, can you avail credit? Say yes and no. Can you avail credit? Say yes and no. Can you avail the credit? Okay. So the answer is no. Somebody will say yes. There may be different answer. Now listen very carefully. You have to listen very carefully. Whose fault it was? Supplier's fault? Why buyer credit would be denied? So there would be double loss to the buyer. He has paid the amount to the supplier and his credit is being denied. Double loss to the buyer. Why government should not take action against the defaulting supplier? They should take action against the defaulting supplier. Am I right? And let me tell you, I will give the brief background and I will tell you the recent provision which will help you to defend your subject matter on this ground. My answer to all of you is credit can't be denied. Can't be denied for the fault of supplier of non-payment of taxes until 1st October 2022. So prior to 1st October 2022, we can discuss then when GSTR 2A was not available and when GSTR 2A was made available. We can discuss these two components. When GSTR 2A was not available until January 2019, you can always say to the court, Milord, I paid the amount to the supplier. Supplier did not deposit. Even I was not knowing that supplier after collecting the tax is not depositing the tax. What was the window available to me? Please tell me what window was available to me. There was no window available. Government was supposed to introduce 2A. 2A initially was not showing the status filed. Later on started showing the status filed by supplier. So I was not knowing even the supplier even after collecting the tax is not depositing the tax. So there's one doctrine of impossibility. Lex non cogit ad impossibilia. You cannot compel a person to do something impossible. So when 2A was not available, there was no machinery provision available. How you can penalize the recipient and buyer? He was even not knowing. And I can always say even department was not knowing until this 2A came into the picture. Do you all agree? Say yes and no. First say yes and no in a chat box, then we'll move further. Are you getting my point? All right. Even pre-GST, this issue was disputed. Honorable Supreme Court in the case of KK Industries Limited, in the case of Central Excise and Sunbet Credit, Modbet Credit, they have said for the fault of supplier of non-payment of taxes credit, you can't deny. Even under VAT regime, maximum High Court judgment in favor of a taxpayer, except Bombay High Court, Mahakottan Lakshmi case. Even in GST regime, there is one Madras High Court judgment, D.Y. Bethel Enterprises, Madras High Court. And in that judgment, it is being said, you can't demand reversal from the buyer, from the recipient. For non-payment of taxes by the supplier, you must take action against the defaulting supplier first. Go and take action against him. You have given registration to both the parties, to the supplier and to the recipient. Why you're demanding reversal from recipient? Am I right? Not possible. So first take action against the defaulting supplier. This is the D.Y. Bethel Enterprises. Now let me ask connecting question. After 2A came into the picture, 2A, and they were showing status, that status filed of supplier, whether department can allege that now 2A is showing status filed. So you know that your supplier has not paid the taxes because status is not filed. He has not paid the taxes. Whether my credit can be denied, say yes and no in a chat box. Say yes and no. Whether credit can be denied. Okay. So a lot of you are saying no, yes. My answer to all of you, even after 2A came into the picture, I can always argue before the court. Milord, 2A showing status as filed or not filed is not conclusive. I do not know whether my supplier has really included my invoice for discharging the tax liability. Just showing that status file, it is not serving any purpose. First and second answer, and which is the legal answer. Now, section 41, subsection 2 got substituted. And listen, 41, subsection 2. And this is very interesting. I need your attention. You need to all pay attention so that you can understand my point, which is important here. And listen very carefully. What is 41 subsection 2 effective from October 1, 2022? Listen very carefully. And I really want you should really catch this provision. 41 subsection 2 is saying if supplier default in payment of tax, then buyer need to reverse credit along with interest at the rate of 18%. And whenever supplier pays the liability, buyer can re-avail the credit. This is the provision. I'm repeating again because I really want your attention. 41 subsection 2, which is substituted prospective clause effective from October 1, 2022, is saying buyer need to reverse credit if supplier has defaulted in payment of tax along with interest at the rate of 18%. And buyer can re-avail credit once taxes paid by the supplier. Why this provision is made under 41 subsection 2? First question, it would be coming to your mind. They have made this provision because they will go to the court and say before the milord, why I'm demanding reversal from the buyer? Because 41 subsection 2. That is the reason I'm demanding reversal. Say yes in a chat box, department shelter, Pratik. So write yes, first write yes in a chat box so that I can convey my position to you. So they are trying to take advantage and they want to done away all litigation, and that's the reason they will say to the court, Milord, as per this provision, buyer need to reverse. That's the reason we are demanding reversal along with interest. As a taxpayer, I have to argue and I need to defend my case. I will argue before the court. Listen, I will say to the court, Milord, this 41 subsection 2 is a prospective clause. It cannot be applied retrospectively. So it is applicable only on or after October 1, 2022. So for the past period prior to October 1, 2022, department cannot demand reversal from the buyer. They have to go to the supplier for collection of tax. So I will take this argument of 41 subsection 2 to my advantage as well, that for the period prior to 41 subsection 2, October 1, 2022, prior, you cannot demand reversal. Hope you have understood it. Say yes. Hope you have understood it. As department is taking shelter, I'm also taking shelter of this provision, which is prospectively applicable. Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear to all of you? Yes. Yes. Now, they're demanding interest. Interest is a additional cost, and there's no credit mechanism. So that buyer need to pay interest 18%. It is too harsh a provision. For re-availment of credit, no time limit. So you can always take it that re-availment of credit, whenever supplier pays the liability, re-availment can be done irrespective of any time limit. So there's no time limit restriction for re-availment of credit. So Bijoy Gupta, I have said that the post 1st October 2022, and Suryam is saying section 16 subsection 2 clause C, it is one of the condition. But Suryam, demanding the tax, we need to go back to other provision in GST law. Not only one section. Demanding the tax, you need to check from whose perspective it is. That is one of the condition, and for that I have discussed lot many provision. So post October 1, 2022, of course they are having a right to demand reversal. Hope I'm clear to all of you. Am I clear to all of you? Say yes quickly in a chat box. Yes. Then the last topic of the day, and then we can discuss any question coming to your mind. Okay. Time limit to avail credit, section 16, subsection 4. Earlier, it was earliest of due date furnishing return for September under section 39, which is GSTR 3B, right? So for financial year 21-22, due date for GSTR 3B for the September is 20th October 2022. For region known to all of us, so-called GSTN common portal, we got 1 day extended, 21st of October 2022, right? As per the provision. Or date of furnishing annual return, which is 31st December 2022, whichever is earlier. Now they have omitted the reference of due date of furnishing return under section 39 for September following the end of financial year. This portion they have omitted. They are saying till 30th November in next financial year following the end of financial year. So it is 30th November. 30th November. So time limit as per section 16 subsection 4 is 30th November. Now certain question which is coming to me, which I want to answer here. First question. This 30th November provision is applicable for 21-22 financial year 21-22. Say yes and no in a chat box. At least I should see that all of you must be knowing. Okay, yes. Now, but let me tell you one thing. This clarity came after 5-6 days. After 5-6 days, I'm still recalling change was made from October 1, notification came sometime on 20th September, 28 September 2022. And then there was confusion. There are too many guys who are known to me in participants today. They were asking me, sir, it is applicable for 21-22, it is, or it is applicable for 22-23. I made one video, and that video I posted before this press release was issued. And I clarified that this is going to be applicable for 21-22. Fortunate part, they have clarified that this time limit. So there's Mohan Kumar, Mr. Mohan Kumar is saying, I saw it. So there are certain endorsement that they saw this particular video, and I said it is applicable for 21-22. So for 21-22, last date would be 30th November. Next question, connecting question. September return is going in October. October return is going on 20th November. 20th November. But November return will be going on 20th December. So another confusion in the market. Sir, what happened? Is it 30th November need to be read with the return GSTR 3B filed, or the November 3B which is filed on 20th December will also be available? Hope my question is clear. First you say, okay. So Suryam is once again bouncing back. Before I say that he is bouncing back immediately. Listen to me, to me. Credit is availed as per GST 3B. I'm giving you food for thought, and there may be divergent perspective to read and interpret the provision. To my mind, in my personal opinion, whatever credit availed as per GSTR 3B till 30th November, that credit would be available. So October return, which is due by 20th November, may be extended till 30th November with the late fees for delay in filing 3B. That credit would be available, but November 3B filed on 20th December, I have my own doubt. Am I clear? I say in my humble submission, there may be difference of opinion from two section of interpretation school. To me, 3B filed till 30th November, credit is available. So at most October 3B can be delayed till 30th November. I hope I'm clear to all of you. First you say in a chat box yes. First you say yes in a chat box. Interpretation may vary from one person to another person. I'm not going to debate here. That is my way of interpretation, which I'm sharing with all of you. Okay. All right. All right. So many yes I saw in a chat box, and I given the answer to Suryam as well. Now coming to the last component of today's discussion, and then of course question answer. Free, you can ask any query, whatever you got. Deep Jyoti, just wait. Don't worry, I will answer your query. And Harshini is not going to leave me today without answering your query, for sure. That I'm aware of. So just wait, maybe 5 minutes more, and then we can take to the question answers, open house. The last provision. GST input tax credit, as I'm discussing, I would like to discuss section 50, subsection 3. I'm availing credit, and let's assume it is wrongly availed. Wrongly availed. Now I need to reverse if it is wrongly availed. So reverse without utilization and reverse after utilization. So tell me if it is reversed before utilization, I have not utilized the same. With the interest leviable, say yes and no in a chat box. No interest. And that too with retrospective date. Retrospective July 1, 2017. If you have paid interest on this particular entry, you should go and claim refund, provided incidence of this interest is not passed on. Am I clear? Retrospective. If you have paid, then go and claim refund. One part. Second part. If wrongly availed and utilized, and you are reversing, interest is leviable, say yes and no. Leviable, yes and no. Okay, yes, leviable. What is the rate of interest? 18% or 24%? 18 or 24? %18. 1/8. So those who are answering 24, Sip Sankar Sao, Kunal Paranjape, please 18%. That too from July 1, 2017. Third component and last component of the day, interesting one. I know that you love my practical example. That's the reason I keep all practical with all of, so that I can share with all of you. Listen, this is the last example. I got my January return GSTR 3B. I did not file on time. Now I'm filing 3B of January month. So in 3B, I was having 10 lakh rupees my liability, and I was having 8 lakh rupees in my e-credit ledger. So net tax liability was only 2 lakh rupees. So when January 3B filed today, interest is leviable on 10 lakh gross tax or net tax, which is 2 lakh rupees. Say 10 or 2. 10 or 2. 2 lakh rupees. Perfect, perfect. Now the googly. So cricket matches are on. So googly, be ready. You have to face this question. So bouncer coming to your way. You have filed your January return. You have filed your January return. But some of the transactions, some of the invoice you missed in showing 3B of January month pertaining to January. So some of the invoices of January you did not disclose in January 3B. Now you are disclosing in current tax period. And let's assume liability was 10 lakh rupees pertaining to those invoices. And you were having a credit, let's say 8 lakh rupees. You were lying certain 8 lakh rupees credit. I'm giving you the example that there are certain invoices of January having liability of 10 lakh rupees did not disclose in January return, which you have already filed. Now you're in showing in current tax period. Though you're having credit for 8 lakh rupees, you require to pay interest on 10 lakh or 2 lakh. My next question to you. So, and let me congratulate and say big thumbs up to all those who are answering correct 10 lakh rupees. Go back to section 50 subsection 1 proviso. That will help you. It is on gross tax liability. Even though you're having credit, but you have to pay interest on gross tax. Section 50 subsection 1 proviso. Thanking those who have given the right answer. Now, I've done my part of presentation today, 1.5 hour continuous on GST input tax credit. So before I start question answer session, I invite Harsini to take it forward. My two, three important point which I want to ask. I keep on, interacting with you guys. I keep connecting Zoho business. Uh, Zoho is the partner for this, GST knowledge series. We are trying our best that whatever changes happening in GST, we must, deliberate, and this hand-holding must be provided from our side. So way forward automation of return, e-invoicing. We did a lot of program on e-invoicing as well. So I'm only saying now days are on automation. We have to really get implemented automation. Manual way of maintaining things will not succeed in future. So you have to really see whatever you like most. You have to get it implemented. That will help you for your accounting, invoicing, and preparation of GST return and everything. So get it ready, and this is important time because we all know that down the line e-invoicing going to be applicable from April 1, 2023. Those whose aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore rupees. So this threshold is going to reduce further from 10 crore to 5 crore. So get set ready. Second point, I always try to give the new pointer theory with a lot of practicals, and I'm sure you're liking this combo mocktail and cocktail because we believe this cocktail mocktail works better way. So I always give theory part with the practical part so that you enjoy the session. That is always my objective all about. But thanking each one of you. Immediate after Diwali, even I was a little worried that whether I will get good audience to watch me today or not. But definitely, yes, you all have taken out your time and watching this webinar. I'm very much thankful to each one of you. And important part that this number remains same. They do not go away. Important aspect, a movie is going on, you wait till the end of the movie. That is the important aspect. Thanks goes to each one of you that you are connected with me and watching these webinars. Thanking you. Now back to Harsini for any questions. So she can highlight and we can start answering.
Thank you so much, Bimalji. I don't have to tell you specially. I think the audience are pouring in love for the kind of webinar that you hosted. And like I said in the beginning of the webinar, everybody I think were in the edge of their seat and very we made it more interesting and engaging for them. And thank you so much, Bimalji. And we've been doing a series of webinar with Bimalji, and all of those videos have been uploaded on our YouTube channel as well. So if you really want to learn more from Bimalji's series, you can go take a look at Zoho Books' YouTube page, and you'll be able to see all those videos. And now let's have quick questions. We have so many questions here, but we are very sorry we'll not be able to take all of them, but we'll try to answer as much as we can. So there is a question from I'm projecting it here. So CACV Suryam has asked, Sir, if contractual terms include beyond 6 months to pay consideration, is it valid to defend the case of non-payment within 180 days?
Yes, Suryam, possible because the term used recipient fails to pay. Fails to pay, the term need to be understood. If contractual term is giving me extended credit period, then it is not fails to pay, and we can definitely defend Suryam.
Okay. If you have any questions, please post it in the questions tab because the chats have been overfilled with a lot of engagements. We might miss out on them. If you post it on the questions tab, I'll be able to project and Bimalji will be able to take it up and answer. So next we have a question from Arun Kannan, and he asked, if I pay RCM in this month, whether will I be eligible to claim the credit in the same month or next month?
So Arun, what you want to do in the same month? If I give you the answer same month, am I going to get some percentage? On a lighter note, same month, Arun, RCM credit in the same month, provided you pay the liability. Why, Arun? Am I clear? Same month. Okay. So I did not understand one thing, Hasini. There's one tab like this, good. One tab like this, down.
Yes.
I do not know why it is down for what region.
No, so there are like these are called upwards and downwards. In case if people have
No, now see, now it got changed. See, now it got changed. See, now it
uh,
is three up means those who are clicking, they are also not understanding what they are clicking it. Nevertheless, my answer is credit available in the same month. Thank you.
okay, so let's move on to the next question. This is from Suman. Suman is asking, Sir, I have one question. If our BOE date is 30/9/2022 and material received on 20/10/2022, whether IGST credit can be taken in September 2022?
Supan, this issue is need to be understood from a perspective when bill of entry is being filed and it is being cleared by the custom authority that may be dated. Suman, try to understand. Dated 30th 9 2022, and custom authority is clearing the same on 2nd of October. Unless they clear the bill of entry for home consumption, it is not received by you. Goods are not received by you. So you take the possession of goods when bill of entry get assessed by the custom authority. So it may be dated 30th September, but assessed on 2nd of October. Then actually you got possession of goods on 2nd of October. To my mind, then you should avail credit in the month of October. But listen very carefully. It got assessed on 30th September and it was dated 30th September. For some reason, it was lying at the port and you cleared only on 2nd October. Then I can say you can take credit on 30th September basis. Hope I'm clear to all of you.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. This is from Saurav. Saurav is asking, sir, we reversed TC wrongly availed and utilizing during April 2018 during the filing of 3B in September. Also paid interest in cash at 24% through 3B itself. However, department verbally asking us now to pay through DRC3. In that case, what should we do?
See, they verbally, Saurabh, I do not know. This department is creating confusion throughout the country. Why this verbal asking? When I've done through my 3B, I've done legitimately. If I've shown the transaction, it was reversal of a particular month, April 2018, did in September, I paid the interest, I've done my part. There's no wrong in it. And again, demanding through DRC 03 is totally incorrect. And second, why 24%? It is only 18%. Rather, you should go and claim refund, provided the incidence is not passed on. That would be my answer, Saurabh.
Okay, next we have one more question from Kunal. Um, Kunal is asking, sir, we have tried applying for refund under ocean freight based on most mineral Supreme Court judgment. However, department is denying and rejecting the refund since there is a specific criteria under section 54 to claim the refund.
I do not know, Kunal, after this Supreme Court judgment, they should not object to it. And if they are denying and rejecting refund for a particular region, get the so-called notice and litigate the matter. That is the only way forward. But they can't hold back. Within 60 days, they are supposed to refund my money. If they are not refunding, tell them issue a so-called notice. And we will defend it accordingly. That is what the answer, Kunal, to you.
Okay, so let's take a last question, and this will be from Vinod. Vinod is asking, sir, can we book income as provision for price increase received from customer for 1 or 2 months without raising debit mode?
We know these are the transaction need to be understood. If you are booking income as provision for price increase, if it is only provision with no backup, no data, then it is only provisional entry. But any price increase with the duly supported with the contract and which you are supposed to get, then section 31, which talks about that debit note to be raised on that basis. So any provisional entry which is not a final entry, you can always play with that, but you have to be very careful about, Binod. That would be my answer to you.
All right. So I think we have a lot of questions coming through. But if you have any questions, Bimalji is always active on his social media platform. You can keep tweeting, or you can keep sending him messages over there. And his team also keeps posting a lot of polls, so that it's more interactive. And if you have any questions specifically for Bimalji, you can reach out to him on his social platforms. And if you would like to, explore more about Zoho books, then we have all the handles listed here with the support number. So we are just one call away to help you out for implementation or support. And yeah, yes, Bimalji.
I'm interrupting, sorry.
No problem.
Two information I would like to share with my distinguished participants today. First of all, with your support and vote, thank you very much once again. I'm being awarded as a best facilitator, an intermediary award by TIOL. And this award going to be given to me on 8th of November at Leela Palace, New Delhi. So those who are around, they can join in the celebration with your support and vote. Yes, I always assume if I'm winning, it is not Bimal Jain, it is you who has get this award, Best Facilitator and Intermediary Award, the first one. And second one, I'm being invited at International Summit for e-invoicing in India at Singapore on 7th of December. So e-invoicing, we are doing a lot of program in India, and worldwide it is being appreciated. I'm being invited for addressing the audience from coming from China, Japan, Singapore, different US country and European countries, and they want to learn the e-invoicing concept of India. So there I'm going to make presentation on e-invoicing at Singapore on 7th December. So it's an achievement for you as well. That's the reason I'm sharing with all of you, because ultimately these are adding values to our overall initiative of, at least we are trying to make GST good and simple tax. And last and foremost, thanking each one of you. Your congratulation is not to me. Congratulations to each one of you, including Joho Books, Hasini, and team of Joho Books, and each one of you who are participating and joining our webinar. Last and foremost, I always, maybe Hasini has taken a, she has taken some, I don't know, poll was there in between. She has done one poll, but for me, my poll is your answer in a chat box. I'm sure you have liked today's webinar and got a lot of new insight on the topic we have discussed today. I'm sure about it. So you may write your feedback in a chat box so that I get input. Yes, you got benefited, and we will definitely take up number of other queries, other topic, and other important topic wherever you feel like that we can add value and we can really make GST good and simple tax. Back to Hasini.
Congratulations, Bimal ji, on that, and well-deserved recognition, I must say. On behalf of Zoho, I would like to congratulate you on that, and very happy for you, Bimal ji. So,
Thank
in
you.
this journey of all those months of hosting webinars with you, personally, I feel very, very happy that it's a well-deserved award that is being given to you. That's
Thank you.
something that I'm very happy about.
Thank you.
And yeah, so I am very sure you all liked today's webinar. And if you would like to rewatch this, we will be getting it posted on our YouTube channel. And Bimalji will also post from his handles in a couple of days. Probably by Tuesday, the recording should be out on our social platforms. You can always, check our YouTube and Twitter account to see if the video has been uploaded. And we all loved hosting you. We also look forward to having you on board for other webinars also. We still have more webinars with Bimalji in the coming months. We all hope you all show the same enthusiasm and the interest in joining the webinar like you did today. And thank you so much, Bimalji. Special thanks and
Thank
congratulations
you.
to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you. Thank you very much.